the Euro 2020 has concluded, and Italy are the champions. So, round of applause for them. Let it go. Well, whatever. So, Italy won the final, beating out England 1-1 and then beating them 3-2 on penalties. And I think throughout the whole tournament, based on performances and stuff, definitely deserved Italy definitely deserved that win. So again, hats off, congratulations to them. And I wanted to just go over my predictions and spoiler alert, see how bad I was. But the only, I guess, category that I made up that I got right, I'll start with the positives. Dark horses. I'm a genius. First of all, in my prediction, I watched back and I made as kind of like a more ironic. It wasn't too serious. I said Italy, boys. I said it because, like, of course, Italy didn't make it into the World Cup in 2018. So it was like a team that doesn't make it to a World Cup to do good at Euros. You wouldn't expect that, so that's why I had them as my dark horses. I mean, but in all seriousness, I never, like, even when I said it, it was like not entirely serious, and they were definitely not one of my picks of who would win it. Definitely not my picks of who would run out victors overall in the tournament. I'll get onto those. But in my prediction, I actually did a real dark horse prediction, and I picked Denmark. This one I can take full credit for. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, because Denmark, although they had a group where it was very, I wouldn't say easy, but it was definitely achievable for that squad to make it out of. Nobody, like, I don't know odds. I don't know any of that, but I doubt, actually, I'd predict that they were like plus a lot of money to get to the semi-finals, even to get to the quarterfinals, if I'm being honest. Like, they surprised, I'm sure, a lot of people. And considering their start, what happened in their first game, losing Christian Eriksen like that, losing in terms of the tournament, like, thank God he seems like he's recovering well, although maybe not sport, but sport, as much as I love it, it's no one cares about that right now. It's about how does Christian Eriksen recover? How is he as a person, not as a footballer? But yeah, if anything, you could argue that Switzerland as well were some dark horses, purely because they were a giant slayer and knocked out France. But I feel like the fact that they got knocked out in the quarterfinals then against Spain, I want to say. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think they lost to Spain in the very next round. I think Denmark have to be the dark horses of the tournament. And pat on the back for that one. Thank you. Next one, I had my disappointment of the tournament. I picked Spain. And I will happily say they proved me very wrong. I thought they were going to be atrocious. And the way they started in their group games, I was feeling like, you know what? I know a lot about football, you know. I'm smart. But I think I said it in one of my predictions. Not said it before. But their performance just kept on escalating and outdoing themselves. And it got to the fact that they lost to Italy on penalties. So it's not like they were completely outmatched. Honestly, they were playing very well against Italy. I don't like the term of they were the better side or whatever, because at the end of the day, goals are what mattered. But they had more of the possession. They were creating a few more chances, and they just didn't have that instinct, that killer instinct to finish them off, or to really get a hold of that game. But yeah, Spain surprised me. They've done a lot better than I thought, and with such a young squad, which I thought was going to be their downfall, there's a lot of room for improvements. And that's, if I'm any other country, I'm scared of that. So I think they're going to be up there with one of my favourites in the World Cup now. So hang on. But yeah, on to what my actual picks were. And it's really sad because I wanted to give myself as many chances as I can to be like, yeah, I'm smart, I know this stuff. So I predicted three winners. Germany knocked out in the round of 16. France knocked out in the round of 16. And Belgium knocked out in the quarterfinals. Very quickly, I forgot to mention it. For France, I think they have to be the disappointments of the tournament. So I said Spain, and there's no one else that you could say except for France, because they had such high expectations. I thought they were going to win. I was very conflicted between it got up to a semi-final, I think. The semi-final, potential semi-final of Belgium and France. I thought that was the game they would win all, and I was very conflicted about that. Didn't even make it. Did not even make it. So, yeah, France are the disappointments. But back to my picks. I picked those three, and they were all gone by the semis. That's why these Euros were so cool, because I don't know. Again, I don't know the odds. For me, my top three favourites two of them didn't even make it to the quarterfinals, and the other one got knocked out then. Like, the semi-finals of Italy, Spain, England, Denmark, if I'm being honest, before the tournament, I wouldn't have been surprised if England were there. All the other ones, like, they outdid themselves. And I think that's why these Euros was, again, I'll say, they were so fun. I enjoyed myself watching and being a fan of the sport and this game. Very, very, very fun. But what I would say is, because a lot of the games were very tightly contested and top quality football, and there was just slight moments or slight mishaps that shaped the game, that, if I'm being honest, in terms of the player of the tournament, no one really stood out to me. Like I finished watching the finals. I'd watched a lot of the games, especially the knockouts. There wasn't, to me, one player that stood so far above the rest. Like, I'll just get over my player of the Euros and top scorer. I both put Lukaku as my predictions, purely based on, I thought Belgium play through him. This was my thinking. Belgium will do well. If Belgium do well, that means Lukaku's doing well. If Lukaku's doing well, he's God. So that's why I picked them for both of them. And because Belgium, let's be real, they probably underperformed. Not there. But back to what actually did happen. Player of the Euros, it went to Donnarumma, and I'm not mad at that at all. I thought in games, especially against Belgium, he looked unbeatable. Unbeatable. The penalty, I think that was one of the times, because Belgium had so many good chances. I remember this feeling. They'd had so many chances, but Donnarumma is so big that it felt like he filled the goal. It looked like that, and there was no chance of beating him. Even when went to the penalty, I was favouring one of the first times ever I was favouring the goalkeeper rather than Lukaku, the goal scorer, which, I mean, proved a bit idiotic because Lukaku scored. But throughout the entire tournament, as we were, Donnarumma looked unstoppable. He just had that aura. He got beaten, of course, at times, especially in that final. 2 minutes in. But yeah, I'm not mad that he got player of the tournament. There's a lot of players that I think have gone unnoticed and I'm sure their stocks have risen from it. Namely, Mela, Spinazzola, Chiesa, even, and many more. I can't think of some of it. Pedri. And yet there's so many top players like that I feel like that's why there wasn't one person standing out, because there were quality performances everywhere. So the fact they went to Donnarumma, honestly, I haven't seen any reactions to it if people are mad or whatever. I'm happy with that. I think that's a fine choice from UEFA there. Next one, top scorer. Again, I said it was Lukaku. A person I never thought it would have been, purely because he's 36. This is probably his last Euros. Cristiano Ronaldo won the Golden Boot. What the hell? He is amazing. Like, let's be real. To me, I think he's one of. I think he is one of, if not the best player ever I've had the pleasure of watching. And I think he always does the unthinkable. But obviously, with age, it's slowing down to Ronaldo's standards. He's still like competing with the best in the world, as shown. But like, I never would have expected this. Not when I was predicting, thinking of all the ways it could go, who could it go to. I think probably. Actually, no. I think I'm too influenced now. I don't remember who else I was thinking originally. I know Ronaldo was not on my radar one bit, and for him to go in and score 5 goals in the group stage, he's a god. He's a god. Never would have picked that. And last thing I had was young player of the tournament. In my very biased opinion, I said Mason Mount. I mean, he didn't. I don't think Mason Mount, like, he played poorly, but it was very meh, if I'm being honest. Very meh. For his standards, he can do a lot more. And I think there were just spurts and moments of that, of Mason throughout the tournament. So I don't think the young player of the tournament is an actual award. I don't know. I kind of just made this up. There could actually be one, but it definitely wasn't Mason Mount. If anything, two that have stood out, mostly from like one or two games, is Pedri for Spain and Doku for Belgium. I think Doku it was against Italy when he had to replace Eden Hazard. Like, if you're a teenager and you get told, hey, you're replacing Eden Hazard, you'd be freaking out. And he performed amazingly. I thought he was great. He was Belgium's attacking flair in that game. And so quick, great dribbling, top player. I think he really showed his quality there. And then Pedri, of course, completing like 99% or 100. I forgot which one it was. Oh, it was 100 in the 90 minutes, but then he misplaced like 1 or 2 in extra time. But yeah, both of those guys. If there is an award, I'm be honest, I'm a bit naive. I don't know this stuff. Those would be my two favorites, and I'd purely put Pedri because his standout performance was in the semi final against the winners. So yeah, those are my review of my predictions in reaction to the Euro 2020. Euro 2020, great tournament, loved it. And now it's time to just sit here and think about transfers, I guess, because football's gonna be gone for a little bit. But hey, next season we're looking forward to it.